Hi, I am Eliot Kennedy. I'm a songwriter, record producer and composer. The reason why I've said that is separate because they are very different jobs nowadays. As a songwriter, throughout the 90s and 2000s, I had a great deal of success with a lot of pop records and worked with some incredible people who are still my friends today. Composer, more or less because I do a lot of film, television, and more importantly, musical theatre, which is kind of the world I work in most of the time. So it covers the bases, and like I say, I am amazed that I'm still here doing it and that I get to do this every day. It's something I never take for granted, and is the biggest privilege of my life to be able to write songs and work with artists. That's Eliot Kennedy for you. Over the years, I've had the privilege to work with some amazing people, and that continues to today. Gary Barlow is my best friend and closest collaboration partner. Brian Adams is right behind him. We've worked together for over 30 years and continue to work in film and make records for him and other artists. Brian and I have written for Celine Dion, Aretha Franklin, won awards together, a Grammy and Golden Globe nomination, and Ivor Novello, which is an amazing thing to have as a songwriter. But you know what? Beyond all of that and the artists that I've worked with, what I'm amazed by is that what I've learned is that it comes down to being a good human. It comes down to connecting with people and sitting in a room and being humans first and foremost and inspiring each other. I think fundamentally, we all just want to be inspired, and that takes honesty, and it means that we have to park our ego, get out of our own way, and get down to just being a human being. That, in my experience, has served me really well and continues to. So yeah, beyond all of the successes, the Spice Girls, gosh, it's exhausting thinking about it. It just comes down to being a good human being and enjoy being around other humans that are equally as excited and completely in love with music as much as I am. That's the biggest privilege. When it comes to the actual songwriting workshops, and I've done a lot of these, and what I've learned in that process, that there are sort of two things that happen in these things. There's the getting together and just being people and just vibing off each other and trying to capture that energy, which is fantastic. And then there's another more focused, a little bit more prescriptive, surgical songwriting, I like to call it, where you've got a purpose and you're all trying to focus on that. It tends to be one of those things that people respond to. I love writing for a very specific purpose, and nowadays, of course, either writing for a film or writing a musical, it's very surgical because you've got a very specific job to do. But there is also something from just the pleasure and the beauty of just sitting and writing a song with, I don't say like-minded, I'd rather say like-souled people that are happy to open up and be honest and be vulnerable, because I think that's when you get the kind of thing that connects with people. What I've learned in these processes, it's ever so difficult, isn't it? You're getting into a room with people you've never met before, and music's important to us, and songwriting's precious to us. So what are we going to do? We're going to open up and get undressed in front of a stranger. It feels that way sometimes. I'm not saying that's a precondition, by the way. Let's just establish that. It's one of those things that I just love, that energy. It's a bit nervous, it's a bit excitement, there's adrenaline, the dopamine's flowing. It's all of the above. And then it's about, okay, look, what do we want to do? What do we want to do here? Having something to write for is really great. So in some situations, having an artist to focus on is a fantastic thing to do, because you can listen to that artist. The job of the songwriter is to get in the head and the heart of the artist and try and articulate the song in their vocabulary. It's about stepping outside of who you are and sort of getting into someone else's groove. That's a really great thing. Another exercise I really love is to target a job. Like, for instance, I'll present to you a pitch for a film that I have written the end credit song for. So I'll give you the pitch that I got and get you to write that song. and let's see how close you get to the song that I eventually got the gig with. And you'll be amazed at how close you'll actually get. And what you'll have is the same as I did, the trailer of the film, a synopsis of what the film is about, what the director's looking for. It's an amazing practice in terms of honing your songwriter skills and literally thinking outside of the box you usually work in. And there's no better way to do that than collaboratively, because you get to feed off everyone else's energy at the same time. So there's two different approaches there. And then I guess the other one is just writing a song just for the shits and giggles of it, because it's fun and we love it, and there's amazing things happen as a result. I guess the principle behind coming to a songwriting camp is multifaceted. People are going to be there for different reasons. We're going to have some experienced songwriters. We're going to have people who want to become more experienced and want to sort of hone their skills, and we're going to have complete beginners who just have this lifelong love affair with music and want to express themselves. Do you know what? All are welcome at different levels, and a bit of wisdom in one of the co-writes, a bit of naivety, a bit of insecurity, it's all good, because it's all positive energy to be able to create something real. So we'll have all kinds of ideas that we're going to throw at you. Some will frighten you, some will inspire you, but we hope that it'll bring out the best of what you're there for, what you're there to learn and experience. And I guarantee you'll make lifelong friends and probably lifelong co-writers, because when you share this experience, something magical happens, and it's hard to quantify what that is until you're in the room and you're doing it. So that for me, would be the greatest outcome. And secondary, that we perhaps have some successes. And the reason why I say that in that order is, for me, this is about humanity. This is about humility. It's about sharing experiences. It's about being vulnerable and being happy to share your pain, because let's be honest, it's what connects us. It's what defines us as humans. It's what defines us as songwriters, because I think that's the bit in the song that connects us, that makes you cry or makes you excited. It's someone's real lived experience. So that's what I hope for you all. And that's going to be my mission, to make you leave here with an experience that you've never had before, that you'll take into the rest of your life. So why wild songs? Well, I'll be honest, I get asked to do a lot of these things, and quite often turn them down because they're time consuming, and we're all busy, aren't we? And I'm trying to spin several plates. But every now and again something comes along that sort of gets my attention, and it's all to do with the spirit of it. It's all to do with the idea, that the foundation that it's built on. I love that Joe is creating an environment and likes to go to places that are very organic and natural. It's a bit of a digital detox. My studio is at the bottom of my garden in the woods, and it's there for a reason. For 28 years I was in the city centre here in Sheffield, but I am now in the woods down there, and it's the best thing I've ever experienced in my life. So just getting out of our usual environment, away from where you normally work, so it's a residential setup, and you're in a bubble. All you're worried about is music and how to articulate yourself better, how to share better. That's what we're trying to create here, and that's what's attracting me to this. They're going to be beautiful locations, and they're going to be wonderful, surrounded by wonderful people and nature. And I urge you to get out in it and just breathe the air. It's what inspiration is fed by. So, I'm living testament. I've got the woods right next to my studio, and quite often when I'm struggling for a lyric, I just take the dog and go in the woods, and by the time I've got back, I've got the chorus. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you just have to reduce it down to its base level, get out into the countryside or in the woods, or just breathe in fresh air, and amazing things happen. So that's why Wild Songs. When I first started out as a songwriter, I didn't know what I was doing. Actually had success quite early from making records and writing songs, and felt an overwhelming sense of imposter syndrome, because the truth is I didn't really know what I was doing, and I really wanted to know what I was doing. I really wanted to be regarded as a songwriter, not just as a one-hit wonder or whatever. So I took the decision to not take the offers just because I'd had a big hit record and work with people. I actually decided to close my door and work with unsigned artists and new writers to learn the craft of being a songwriter. Now, thankfully, I'd got a publishing deal by this point. I had the luxury of being able to do that. Not that it was a lot of money or anything like that, but it was just paramount for me to really take that seriously, because I felt like I owed music that respect of taking a step back and not just trying to go out and grab as much success as I could. And it was absolutely the right thing to do, because the first thing I developed at home out of my little studio, my semi-detached house, was the Spice Girls. And they all crashed at my house, and it was absolute chaos and unbelievable fun, and they went off and changed the world. And what I learned in that process was really vital, and that is get out of your own way, and be happy to park your ego, be happy to be a part of something bigger than yourself, and amazing things happen. And that energy needs to be carried into this experience, because when you're in a room with other people who, they might be more experienced, they might have had a hit record, they might have worked with a lot of people, they might be, more sort of seasoned, and then the person next to you has written songs in their bedroom, is dared not to play them to anybody, but just needs to sort of grow, needs to feel like they need some wisdom, need a bit of guidance. What I realise is mentorship is a major part of this process. And one of the reasons why I want to be there, not just as a songwriter, but just to share my experience. Experience is a funny thing. My experiences help me, right? But my experiences put in context of your life could help you. And it'll certainly help us sharpen the tools that we hope we build a toolbox for. And that you're going to build your career with. So mentorship's really important part of this, and one of the things that I want to be there for, because thankfully I've had an interesting career, and I've worked with amazing people that's taken me to incredible places, and I've absorbed every minute of it and can recall that and tell you how it was for me, and if you find yourself in these situations, or how to find yourself in those situations, which is like, even I kind of question it sometimes and wonder, what on earth am I doing here? But it's a magical journey, music, songwriting, record producing, whatever it is that excites you. So I'm looking forward to being that mentor for you in any of those given situations. And also bringing in career executives that are going to be able to give you that sort of nod in the right direction. Listen, seldom does someone come along and give you all the answers. What you're likely to get are little crumbs that you can put together and make your mind upon that is right for you. But it's all about providing a space and an environment where you're open to listening and taking on board. So mentorship is a big deal. Sharing experiences, sharing memories, and being open to it. That's, I think, is going to be a huge part of what this is, and what I hope you take away from it. One of my favourite things about doing writing camps like the one you're about to do is the bubble you get into, the world you create around you and your co-writers in that environment. It will belong to you and only to you guys, those memories, those experiences, and you'll take that into moving forward. You'll stay in touch with some people. I hope you make lifelong writing relationships and friendships. But the key to this for me is getting back to basics. Having an hour on your phone in the morning, do what you've got to do, turn it off, and dive back into the bubble that we're going to create, which is just nothing but creativity, nothing but inspiration and honesty. One of the great things about where you're going to be in an environment where that's going to feel the right thing to do. So parking the tech is a huge deal. Detoxing from all of that stuff, that noise that drives us nuts every day. I'm not impervious to it, just the same. But I tell you what, when we get in the studio, it goes off, because music demands my respect, it demands my attention. And I just think if I'm going to be allowed today to put up my aerial and receive whatever it is that I get to play a role in as a conduit of this incredible thing we call music, then I think it deserves all of my attention. So I'm looking forward to you experiencing that, to subjecting yourself to what music can actually do to you and how it can change your life. So there's a deeply spiritual side of this experience, beyond just the practical songwriting, learning new skills. There's a real level of humanity that I want to try and impart and have you take away, and hopefully then that becomes part of your makeup and how you approach co-writing and songwriting. And I want you to, every time you come to write a song, go back to that. Oh, I remember that day in the camp, Eliot said this, so-and-so said that, this is what we wrote as a result. These are the experiences I want you to take away from this. So, you know what, there's going to be a lot to learn, and there's going to be a lot of laughter and a few tears, but I tell you what, there'll be some incredible memories and amazing songs.